wanted to address the department regarding apparently all the issues that we have at the Dallas Police Academy that's been prominent in the news. We've put out press releases trying to update the department. But what I've been finding out from talking with officers as I interact with the department on different issues, that not everyone reads the paper or may watch the late evening news. We have such busy lives with the job that we have, that you may not have known everything that has happened. So I wanted to kind of give an overview to everyone from kind of the very beginning to try to explain where we are, what we've done, and what we have yet to do. First of all, earlier this year, we began seeing some of our recruits at the police academy being washed out or terminated for failing the PVOC driving practical test and failing the field sobriety test. As soon as we noticed some of that, then the Black Police Officers Association began expressing concerns to us that black recruits were being terminated, and they had concerns specifically about field sobriety and driving practical skills tests. They named a particular recruit on the field sobriety, and they pretty much talked about just the way the driving course was being conducted was unfair toward black recruits. And so what we immediately did was did a review to find out if there was any substance to any mistreatment or disparate treatment of black recruits, and went back 5 years. And the 5-year review found that only black recruits have been washed out of the driving practical skills test over the last 5 years, and that mostly minority recruits, both black and Hispanics, have been terminated for failing the field sobriety test, with the exception of one white male over the last 5 years. And so with that review, we began looking at the recommendations coming forward of any recruits that might be washed out going forward. We had not yet decided what course of action to take going backwards to address the 5-year review. And almost a week or two later, after getting the concerns expressed by the Black Police Officers Association, we then found that a letter was written by the Dallas Police Association regarding recruits being tested till they passed, and the academy staff standards being lowered or downgraded. And so when we got that letter, we began just to talk with the folks at the academy, the instructors, to find out if there's any substance to that as well. And we found out verbally that there wasn't, but it was such a serious allegation that we wanted to really do a more thorough job, and we began an administrative inquiry, and Internal Affairs took the lead to interview everyone at the academy and at the Firearms Training Center to try to address the Dallas Police Officers Association's concern. That's been completed. That portion, the administrative inquiry, has been completed last couple of weeks, and we found through interviews that no one had been directed or had tested a recruit till they passed, and that there wasn't any sense from anyone that the standards have been downgraded, with the exception of one of the civilian managers at the academy who believed that a particular recruit had been tested a 5th time doing a remedial test that was directed. And this seems to be the gist of at least the DPA's concerns regarding lowered standards, is that there was a particular recruit, Recruit Taylor, who had failed the driving course and was scheduled to do the retest. And unfortunately, and we still haven't really got a good answer on this, there was a 5-week delay in retesting Taylor for his final cumulative test. And the way the rules are written in this SOP, you don't get an opportunity to drive before you retest, but the unusual circumstances is not addressed in the standard operating procedures for retesting cumulative, other than during the driving week, PVOC week, because you've driven Monday through Thursday, there's no need to drive on Friday for your retesting. And it's just unfortunate that there's not any SOP directive on when there's a 5-week delay or any delay between the PVOC week and the final retesting. And so the command staff directed that we allow this recruit to be remediated, and they were remediated for 2 hours one day and 2 hours a second day from what we understand, and the recruit, after being remediated, passed. And this caused the concern from some of the instructors that we had not stuck to the SOP in light of the 5-week delay. There's really not anything addressing the how you remediate someone who hadn't driven for 5 weeks. With driving being a diminishing skill on that skills course, we just believed that there needed to be some type of relief for this recruit. And so during all that, there was a scheduled audit for the department's academy from TCO, the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement. And TCO had also received a letter from the Dallas Police Officers Association regarding our standards being lowered. And so they wanted to really find out if any of that had any substance. And so they pulled score sheets, which we hadn't done when they got here and did an audit. And they found that Recruit Taylor's scores had been lowered inappropriately to fail one portion of the driving course. And so with TCO's discovery, we began an inquiry that's led to a full-blown investigation of why the scores were lowered. And then there's revelations from folks that observed the recruit in field sobriety that was referred to by the Black Police Officers Association from the initial concerns expressed by them of black recruits being failed in field sobriety along with PVOC, that officers had observed the field sobriety test and believed she passed. And so we launched an investigation into that to determine whether or not there was any impropriety during that particular recruit's field sobriety test that she failed. And she was subsequently terminated, so she's no longer with the department. But we still wanted to address that to find out if there was any impropriety, or clear that there wasn't. And with that, that really is the gist of everything that's happening. It's a long, winding story. But let me just say this. One of the things that I spoke with the recruits about on just a few days ago, talked to all the recruits at the academy regarding this department and this issue. I continue to believe that this is the best department in the country, but we do have our issues. And anytime race becomes part of the discussion, you always have varied emotions regarding race, and everyone's always having a difficult time talking about race. But I think the best thing to do is to be upfront as best you can when you have these concerns expressed about race. But I also believe that you can never know what's in a person's heart, but what you can know is whether we followed our rules, and those rules were applied to everyone equally, fairly, and justly. And that's the reasons for these investigations, to ensure that we followed our rules. And where we find that our rules weren't followed, we make those corrections, and then we move forward. And that is the better way to deal with these type of issues. And I really want to convey to all of you that the department's academy staff is exceptional. They've done a great job. The recruits that we have trained to this point have all been exceptional recruits, and we're very proud of all the work that people have done at the academy. And but for these issues coming up and not being addressed to this point, we shouldn't hold our heads down for any of this occurring. We'll be in a better place at the end of the day because we're addressing these. And I just thought coming to you through this form of video where you could hear kind of the whole story from me would be a better way to deal with it. Additionally, I'd like to also inform you that I've made some command structure changes at the police academy. Previously, we had a lieutenant as a commander of the academy. I'm adding a deputy chief David Hughes, in charge of the division, the training academy division, and on a temporary basis for now, Assistant Chief Tom Lawrence will be assigned out to the academy just to add more oversight. We more recently had some promotions of lieutenant, which caused us to move tenured lieutenants around. We're adding Lieutenant Paul Younger from SWAT to the use of force team where Lieutenant Mackie Dunham had served. And we will be obviously adding a fresh perspective is the thoughts behind it to all of the things that we need to do going forward regarding improving our training, making any corrections that we need, and moving forward and putting our best foot forward. Now let me just add one more thing to what all I've said. You know, it's enough to have just the facts told to you, but you know what's a good issue without a good rumor or gossip? And that's that's part of police culture. We love the rumor and gossip, but in this case, there was apparently a rumor that was expressed to the TCO auditors by two of our instructors at the academy that this recruit Taylor, who is part of this issue, was my godson, which is not true. I don't even know recruit Taylor, and but this was expressed that this was something that was thought to be true, and then was thought not to be true, and then another recruit Lowe, was now my godson, and that's not true as well. Now, recruit Lowe is the son of a Dallas police officer, a 31-year veteran, Greg Lowe, who served in SWAT with me and have been through, while we were in SWAT, some very hairy situations. As many SWAT members know, kicking indoors is not one of the better ways to do things in a safe manner, but we serve drug warrants, and he's done things to save my life, and I've done things to save his life, but his son is not my godson, nor is Taylor my godson, and that's just part of the rumor mill that's not true. But I wanted you all to hear that, because all the whispering and gossiping and rumoring is not helpful when we're trying to really understand what all is happening at the academy. Now, this week we've suspended the driving program until we're able to, first of all, get more information from TCO on whether or not they have recommendations for us to improve the program. And we've been in discussions with them, but we also want to understand the score changing issue and get an opportunity to go through all of the recruit files to ensure that we are applying our procedures and policies fairly across the board, no matter what your race. So we will soon have this resolved, I think, in the next several weeks. But again, it's the rumor and gossiping is the thing that makes it a little bit more difficult, although entertaining probably for some. It's very difficult when you have recruits' careers in the balance, and this issue of whether or not it's been applied fairly in the balance as well. But I'm confident that we can resolve this, get whatever corrections need to be made. We can get that done and move forward. And I appreciate your patience in trying to figure all this stuff out, because it's, I would call this a hot mess. But we're committed to making sure that the police department is conveyed in the best light and that we do the right thing. Thank you.